Hi, this is Tina, and welcome to another episode of Joyful Connections, where I have the pleasure of spending time with beautiful, inspiring, amazing people from all around the world, and where we talk about what it means to let joy be your guide. And so I'm really excited to be spending time with beautiful Nalini again from Chalice of Wisdom and Field Tuning. Hi, Nalini, welcome back.
Hi, Tina. It's nice to be here.
Yeah. Gosh, life is such an amazing adventure, huh? And there are so many beautiful places on this planet. And I used to think wherever I go, I take myself with me, and that was definitely true. However, I also found that different places on the planet, as they, I think astrocartography speaks about it, that you really do have different places that have a completely different resonance. And so there may be places where you feel really amazing and other places that feel really uncomfortable to be with. So I would love for you to share a little bit about the journeys that you've been facilitating and the ones that are in store.
They're coming up. Yeah. Well, it's actually true. Astrocartography can talk to you about how your natal astrology and your progressive astrology sort of make certain places good at certain times, or certain flows of energy. It depends on what you're up to. I mean, one particular line will facilitate one thing, one will facilitate another. And so that professional will be able to help with that. And there are places on the planet, they've been known as sacred spaces or power places ever since Gaia began to host other species. Some of them have shifted in their location. Certain energy alignments that are referred to sometimes as the chakras of the planet or whatever, they've moved a bit now. As everything's shifting, nothing is staying. There's nothing static. If you think you're stuck, oh, you're so not. There's some part of you just holding on to something. Everything's in flux and it's scared, But there are special spots, and some of them are still special, always will be. And so one of the things that Spirit has asked me to do, guided me to do, that always sounds so silly, but it's happening, that I'm being in some of these places, and we're doing two ways. Doing very small retreats, because it seems to really help people to, be in the physical presence of this energy that comes through me from source, and to be able to ask questions, to be able to have some meditation time, what used to be called darshan, to be able to really be facilitated and assisted in that way, because they're at a phase where they're in such a shift that it needs that. So we're doing small private retreats. There's going to be one in the Yucatan in August, which is really soon now, but there's been some logistical things, so I'm not quite sure about that. Then one the second week of October in Ireland. There will be more details. There aren't details on the website yet, just because we're sort of nailing the logistics, but very limited. So, few spaces available. And then next year, we'll start doing some other things. Ireland again, potentially France, potentially Australia. We're doing some, that's a very strong possibility. Some things that will help to not just bring this energy there. I mean, for any of us to think, oh, I'm taking my energy there and I'm making a change. We're not that big in the grand scheme of things. I mean, do we make a difference by what we allow ourselves to be held within and what we allow source to do through us? Yes, but that's how it happens. The journeys that are happening are taking two forms. One are the physical things where I invite people to sort of be where I am. And some people talk about that as being in a little pod of like-minded beings. The like-minded expression is old cycle. We need to lose that, because no one's mind is like anyone else's right now, and they're all being dismantled. So let's just... It's really like vibration. It's really what resonates. Just being with the beings that you resonate with. And that's something that for a lot of us, we really haven't had a lot of. For some of us, our configuration, we're not better, we're just different, is sort of unique, and there aren't that many on this world at the time. And so it's an opportunity for that, to just be in that vibration, just, come together, have a gathering and be, and see what comes up, see what comes through. Everyone has, their own experience of that. So it's less about going and visiting sacred sites, although we do some of that, but it's more about just that being in that energy, to letting source come through and sort of seeing what happens, and then everyone goes home different, which is cool. You know, I mean, then the other type of journey that we're doing is sort of armchair journeying for those who are challenged. And I was one of them for the last several years, you know, after my physical reboot. So the last one we did, which we have a web-based application out, it's available. It's called Beaches of Brittany, and it's 2 trips that I took last year in Brittany, which is still very, very special. That land has not been thoroughly imprinted with the kind of mechanistic human vibe. It's still held, and by the consciousness of the people there, even though they may not be aware of it, all of them. So this journey, it's with photography and music and a little story and a meditation, is in a web-based application. You can run it on any computer. We're still having a small issue with iOS because Apple changed it, and now it doesn't work on every device.
Yeah.
And we'll be rewriting some of these for iOS within the next year. And then there's some more coming up. We're doing one that you would appreciate for Rennes le Chateau, because you know about going with that place. We're doing another one for specific sites in Brittany, and then some other places. So we're putting these out in this web application form where people can hear the little story or hear what's available at that location for them.
So cool.
You can take this with you and then go have your own experience. And this is really about direct connect. You know, we are directly connected with Source, and it's time to remember that. So it's a direct way of doing that. And the thing that I loved about literally the Beaches of Brittany, it's also what the application is called, this version, were the light beings dancing. You know, we go out to the beach at sunset and just the light beings dancing, because it's that time on this world, and to remember that you're one of them. Be able to have this experience, you know. So this particular format contains photographs and music and a story, and then a meditation that you can do eyes open or closed, and with the slideshow or not, you know. And then we're evolving this as our engineering evolves for the different locations that we're working with. And we'll probably make these for everywhere that I physically go as well, so that they'll be available to people who can't travel or don't want to or don't have the means or whatever.
Yeah, that is so great. This reminds me of like going to the museum and having one of these guided tours, but this will take you on a whole different, that's so awesome.
Tour. It's exactly that. So the first one is, it's our you know, beta app, you know, our premiere. So we've learned a lot with this one, and more they're going to be just that. Just, you can take it with you. You can go have your own physical journey. As we start to do more and more of them, you could come along with us if you want to. But these are really for you to have your own experience with your body connected with Gaia in a place that has been held sacred for a long time, or that you simply make sacred in that moment by your presence and your willingness to hold that. And you can do it virtually. You don't have to physically go. This is one of the keys about consciousness, is you can hold that place and be in that energy and experience that and commune with what's available there. And so this is starting to make that available, as our bodies need to be part of what Gaia is moving through, because that is the evolution of consciousness in the physical. So it's really fun to be doing it. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, gosh, I can just imagine the different places where, you know, specifically the stories or the energies are held of certain, the goddess vibrations, and
Yes. Yeah, the goddess vibrations, or some of the vibrations here in the Yucatan are amazing. Some of them are what we would call goddess vibrations, but the strongest ones here are the water, the green world, and the panther. It's incredible. It's so palpable to feel that. And there are places everywhere has its own sacredness and has its own. We use the beings or the goddess images to sort of anthropomorphize it, to make it more palatable to our minds. But it's like, here are the elemental and element energies that are most prevalent, and they're holding it, and they're all balanced in a different way. You know, all of the elements always are balanced. It just doesn't seem like it in the world right now with all the weirdness, but they are. And so it's fascinating to me to be in that and feel it in my body and watch, like, oh, the elements are balanced this way here, and let yourself shift, let yourself move. And you're fine. You're held. You know, your body knows how to do this. We're just so used to fixing things, making them rigid. This is right. This isn't Egypt. Anyway.
Oh, this would tie into talking about crazy energies on the planet. I mean, what an amazingly beautiful tool this will be to experience one of these journeys, for anyone who wants to do something about the crazy events happening in the world. Tune into the energy of the places that can be really supportive and nurturing. And the more that each of us are aligned with that or resonate as that, that's what we're sending out. And that's the biggest contribution that we can probably be and make, right?
Contagious, and that's what manifests. It's that consciousness. And the natural world, all of nature is already there.
Yeah.
It's there. It's participating. It loves to be appreciated, admired, loved, participated with. Whenever I go to a new place, that's the first thing I do is connect with the elementals, connect with nature, and not to ask it for help or tell it what I want, but to ask it what's there. What is its balance? What is its configuration? What is there? And learn from that. One of my shamanic mentors in some of the studying I've done used to say, show me, teach me, tell me is what you say to nature, not do this or that. That it's really true. Like, show me, move this through me. Oh, look at how this is. And then the metaphors are so obvious, like in certain places, just the creatures that show up. And we're talking about that a lot in the journeys too, not so much from a shamanic standpoint, although I suppose it is just inherently, indigenously, but from here's the mystical nature of everything and connecting you into that, like each of us into like, this is your mystical nature. And it is the most practical thing you can do is to be in harmony with your world and manifesting that way.
Yeah, and I would say that probably with people living in cities, and so built up, I'm experiencing it now. I'm living in a location in the southwest of Western Australia that is so quiet, so serene here, that the first few days I noticed my body was going, it was like having, I need to go do something, I need to go somewhere. And it was like, the trees were like, would you just take a breath and chill?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then noticing how with so many being so disconnected from their own nature, so therefore not spending time in nature, or maybe whatever way around it goes, that being able to tap into that vibration again, and then you don't need to be amongst just the trees or be in nature. You can be anywhere and be fully connected with that.
Fully connected and tap in, even in the middle of the concrete jungle, the earth is beneath you, the air is around you, the water is there. And so the armchair journeys, the virtual journeys are one way to do that. There are many ways, or even just a park or something like that. Like one of my favorite parks when I lived in San Francisco was actually the topography of it was built on styrofoam, which is hideous. But they created this park by putting styrofoam underneath the soil and the turf. And I remember at the time being horrified by that. But they took this, couple of square city blocks and said, no, we're going to make a park here. And in order to make it look more natural, that's what they did. And I thought, well, okay, they're putting something that's a great under, all of this nature. But then I watched the trees and everything just root down into what was really there and start weaving a whole different energy. And this is what can happen. If you have the opportunity to go spend time in nature, by all means do it right now. That will really help. And also, just being that, just hooking into that, letting your body rest within Gaia. It is that we're talking about in Creating with Light. We're talking about it in the Starstream series a lot, because for those of us who know ourselves as streaming beings, as star streams, it's a little tough to sort of know how to be on this world. It always has been, but nature doesn't have any problem with it by and large, unless need or fear, So this is a way to learn. It's a way. It's not the only way.
That's really exciting. So these can be purchased on the Chalice of Wisdom site?
Yeah, the first one is available on the Chalice site right now. The other ones are coming. We have a lot of things sort of in the pipeline right be coming over the next few months. Yes.
Very exciting. Well, I encourage everyone who is watching, listening to go and check it out. The Armchair Journeys, that just sounds like so much fun. And then if you feel drawn to go on any of the physical journeys, then you'll know it because you'll just feel this inner yes. And it's like, oh, everything just lines up. So go to chaliceofwisdom.com and you'll find lots of other beautiful inspiration there as well. So anything else that you would like to share before we wrap up our conversation here today?
I don't know, unless you have any questions or anything you want to know.
Oh, is there anything, any place in particular on the planet that you're like, oh, that would really, really, really be amazing to go and spend some time in physical journey?
There are quite a few of those. Australia is one of them. There are quite a few of those. There's this particular place in China, the Gorge, the famous Gorge.
Mm-hmm.
But there are, as far as just anyone's journey, it's really, I used to do this, just spin a globe or do that mentally and just sort of see where your energy lands, see where the being goes there, and go find out. It could be something you've never expected, and just go find out. Or you're invited somewhere. This is the other way things are happening. Openings are happening through invitations. You're invited to go somewhere. And part of you, your mind may think, oh, that's not practical, or oh, I don't want to go there, or whatever. Well, check in with your body, check in with Gaia and see, like, is there a connection there that could be made for you that your mind just isn't aware of, or that you might not. It might not be, you might be right. But at the same time, it's like, check where the invitations are coming to.
That's fun, yeah. Oh, well, I look forward to seeing what else is being created, and then as the new Armchair Journeys are added on, that's going to, so juicy, yummy. Okay.
Look on the website, or if you really are interested, you can always sign up for the newsletter list, because we send out beacons, we send out announcements when we put out.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, until we meet again, thank you for being here, Nalini. Thank you for sharing. And for everyone watching, listening, go forth, let joy be your guide to a life that is worth waking up for every day. And until we meet again, many joyful blessings.